So we are trying to make mofongo, which is something I have never made before. And don't ask me why I am trying to make it now. That's a secret. Shh, we'll tell you later. But we're doing our best to make something that I have never tried before, had never heard of before. And it requires some green plantains, but when I went to the Asian store, which is the only place I know of that has plantains, they were all very ripe. And now they're even more ripe because they've been sitting around for a few days. And we don't have very many, so I'm just making a small batch of this stuff just to kind of test it out. And hopefully it'll come out okay because the plantains are pretty overripe by now. And I wasn't even sure if they're any good because I've never used plantains for anything. So we're just kind of crossing our fingers and hoping this all turns out okay. I think it probably will. I tasted the plantains and they taste perfectly good. So and like I said, I have no idea what this dish is supposed to taste like. Traditionally it has chicharrones in it, pork rinds, you know, pork skin. Of course we're not doing that because this is a vegan version. So it has other things. We're using some soy curls to make sort of like a chicken soup that goes with it, or a broth. Some recipes had that, some didn't, but we're just gonna try it because I had some soy curls in the cupboard, and that's another thing I'm not familiar with using. So this recipe is all a giant experiment, and we'll see what happens. Wish us luck! The recipe calls for green plantains, but we're gonna use these because I have them, and yeah, they need to get used. They're getting a little bit mushy, so I'm not sure how this recipe is gonna turn out with these, but we'll find out. You're the one that wanted me to make this.
That's right.
Why are we making this?
My Puerto Rican friend recommended it. I was like, what do you She said, Mofongo. Mofongo. I'm sure
The ends up all mashed up.
it's gotta be
But you're supposed to be using green plantains, which means they're not even ripe. These are like overripe.
They are. Like little marshmallows or something. Or like, I don't know. Pastas or maybe a potato thing.
So I was supposed to have half red bell pepper and half green bell pepper, but I only have a green bell pepper, and we're only making half a recipe, so I did cut up a lot of onion. Maybe I don't need all that much onion, and I'll do just this half a bell pepper, and we'll make a small batch. So this recipe calls for using a mortar and pestle to mash everything together. I never use a mortar and pestle for anything, and this one was full of just kind of decorative stuff, and so I had to give it a good cleaning before we could use it. But hey, I've got one, so we're gonna use it. So now we just put in, I mean, it's kind of small, but we can do this in batches. We're making 2 servings, so this is really not very much of the plantain. But we just start mashing it up in there, and we add some, what do we add? So we've got our plantain in here. I'm going to start smashing it up. And this part of the recipe, they didn't really put any measurements. It's kind of a little, it's the dinner bell. Okay. So there's no measurements, so we're just going to put in just a tiny bit of butter, vegan butter, a tiny bit of garlic paste, and these are going to be tiny little servings. The recipe calls for adobo seasoning. I don't have any seasoning, but I had some chipotle chilies and adobo sauce, so I'm just going to put a little bit of that sauce in there. And again, I have no idea what this is supposed to taste like. So hopefully it just tastes good, right? It doesn't call for any salt and pepper or anything, but when you put it in a dish and you top it with the other things that we made, the broth and the mojo. Alright, this is supposed to be mashed to a consistency that you can form it into a ball, which it said cup-sized ball, but we don't have enough for that. So this is going to be a small serving. Alright, so take it out, turn it into a ball. I gotta see what this tastes like. Okay, that's got some good flavors. This is probably gonna be good. Looks kind of like a little meatball. It's supposed to be much bigger than that, but this is just a trial. So I'll make the second batch. Put the rest of the plantains in. Alright, so now we just put some of the mojo on there. Gotta have some mojo. Some good mojo. I don't know how much there's supposed to be, but I'm just going for it. It was really nice and flavorful, so should be good. And then we got this. whatever this stuff is called. It's basically like a chicken broth. We got our soy curls in there and some unchickened bouillon. And yeah, this looks pretty good. Okay, we're gonna give this a try. What is this gonna be like? Alright, so we're gonna give this a try. We've got the mofongo is the part with the plantains in it. And then we have the mojo, or mojo, probably is how it's pronounced, but I like saying mojo, you know, because it's good mojo, right? And then we have what is called caldo de pollo, which of course means chicken, but in this case it's fake chicken. So here we go. We're trying this out for the first time. That is different. That's pretty good.
Cheers.
I've never tasted anything quite like
It's fresh.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it's like you have that, the mojo contrasted with the sweet of the mofongo. You got the onion and the bell pepper. Yeah, really contrast with the plantain.
Yeah, interesting mix of flavors.
And that savory broth. Woo! I just got a little bit of the chili heat in the back of my throat. Wow.
Would you make it again? Yeah, I think so.
I guess, yeah. Maybe for a special occasion. I don't know what occasion that would be, but alright. Well, that's a new recipe for our repertoire. And maybe you'll try it at home. Little taste of Puerto Rico.
Mofongo.
Mofongo.
You could say go fongo, but go mofongo.
Happy New Year! Do you want to try some of this? No.
I think you should.
I don't think he likes banana stuff.
Well, try
He
one
likes
more.
broccoli.
Try one more time.
You want to try it? You want to try it?
Mm-hmm.
No.
You keep licking your lips. I think you want to try it.